Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they lying. Don't talk, you gotta work.
Welcome to Let's Talk with Carl Lee and frequent guest hosts Hollis Lewis and Lisa Otey, where sports, culture, and community intersect. Join the crew as they dive into engaging conversations with guests from all walks of the sports life. Let's Talk is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Real talk, real experience, real results. FrankWalkerLaw.com. And by the all-new historic Coyer Diner in downtown Charleston. Online at CoyerDiner.com. Let the conversation begin on Let's Talk.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Lee with Let's Talk, and I have my my co-host in the building, Lisa Otey.
Hello.
And Hollis Lewis.
Hello, hello.
And Hollis, I think you're going to open us up.
Yeah. So I was at West Virginia State's Earl Lloyd Classic basketball tournament this weekend, and I ran into a fan. You know, oftentimes when you're walking around and, you know, just matriculating through life, I'm sure you meet people who listen to the show. But this gentleman was very special. So a shout out to you, Will. He's going through some things. And he has to travel pretty frequently. And he said a big part of passing the time as he's going through what he's going through is listening to the show. So it was something that touched my heart. And hopefully, Will, we're going to have you on one day. So, you know, you continue to be safe, get well, and you know,
and we totally appreciate it. That's always good stuff, though.
It doesn't always like just, I don't know about you guys, but it just kind of like you're almost in shock and awe when somebody says, "Oh yeah, you're on that podcast with Let's Talk with Carl Lee," and you're just like, wow, because sometimes we forget when we're in the studio, just us and poor, Matt in there trying to control us. But you forget that people actually are out there listening and they appreciate, what we do. And shout out to you guys for doing that, for listening.
100%.
Well, and to that point, it is an amazing kind of a thing. Like, and for you two, both of you all in your, at least in your past line of work, Hollis in your current work, like, to me, when I see that, I don't think that you guys can actually appreciate or maybe even be totally aware of the positive sides of that, of the people who look at you and think like, oh man, she's great, he's great, they're doing all these good things. Because I think what happens is you spend all of your time on working on trying to get those positive things for people to be appreciative of. Not saying that you're doing it just so they appreciate it, but you're so tied into working with that kind of stuff that
your content, you're thinking about what we're going to discuss and talk about, and you forget that the audience really, there is an audience.
You've done something, and all of a sudden now I'm totally appreciative of it, and you don't know me, and then all of a sudden I happen to walk up and see you, and now it's like, oh, and and I think that's a hard kind of thing to kind of maybe get used to, and sports is built around that kind of thing, but when you do it, to me, I think when you do it outside of sports, I think it's huge. I think it's
right.
It's just it's way more special, I think, because you got everybody calling your name and all of that kind of stuff during that. But in you all's line of work, it's different. Like it's like you got to literally do something, and you're doing something, and you got a huge group of people that are like, man, she's great. Oh man, he's great. And I think that itself is cool.
Yeah,
it's a reward in itself for sure. And to hear something like that, that's just a heartwarming story about Will. I mean, to know what he's going through, and it makes us feel good because we feel like we're helping somebody get through a difficult part of their lives just by putting out some content on sports, and it helps them forget for a while. And hopefully that's our goal, really, is to help everybody escape reality for a minute.
And how many times have somebody told you that they're driving somewhere?
Yeah.
And they know that we're on, and so they're listening to us to go drive. As they go wherever they're going and they're driving, they're listening to us. And when you think about that, that's like kind of cool. Like, You know,
Oh, it's very cool.
Because, like, wow, okay, he knows we're on. She knows we're on. They're turning us on at that time to take that drive. That's, you know.
Shout out to you, Will.
Shout out to Will, for sure. Thank you,
all
Will.
the listeners who
all listeners, the
who
whole
stepped
audience.
in and listened to us. All right, well.
Let's put some content out there for them to listen to now.
For sure. All right, so I'm going to open this up with I'm going to call it the Deion Sanders.
Shedeur Sanders. Saga.
All right. Here's my take on it. I feel really, really bad about the health of Deion, and in spite of his health, he's still trying to be the head coach. He's still trying to be the dad that's supporting his son, wanting the best for his son. I think all of that is. I think it's important and it's great. Shedeur, I think what he did not realize, and most players who are great in college, and I use that word literally, great in college, they don't really know the transition to the next level of, it's one thing being in practice and being good and thinking like, oh, this is easy. But then when it comes to the real games, regular season games against teams, it ain't the same.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that I personally think that Shedeur can play. I think that what's happened.
Do we know if he can play?
Well,
I don't know if we know that.
Well, here's and I'm gonna let you have all of this. Okay, here's what I think. I think he can play. But playing does not necessarily mean that you're going to be a superstar or you're even going to be a starter. You can play if you can play in the pros, right? You can play. But I don't really know yet if he understood the difference in what his greatness, however he viewed his greatness in college. To think that that's going to carry over and that's just going to be okay, and you're on a team that's not very good. Now you can talk about the line's not doing this, all that kind of stuff. But dude, you are the guy.
Well,
and you're claiming to be it.
You want to go first, Hollis?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think maybe that's a thought maybe initially, but I think reality set in. And the fact of the matter is, I don't know if he can play. Because he just hasn't really had the opportunities. From every report coming out, he hasn't got first-team reps. He's not getting a lot of practice time. And as a quarterback, you have to build that muscle memory, and that happens in practice. And just to pick a context, he saw his first game action this week. It didn't really go well.
No.
Not at all.
So again, I don't. We don't know. I don't think I think anybody says he can't or he can't. You don't know.
I think the circumstance that he was thrown into, I just don't think he could win. I mean, first of all, like you said, going back to your point, Hollis, he really hasn't even had practice with that first team offense. So, you throw him into a situation where you're already losing to the team that you're playing. His stats were not great. Of course, I'm sure he was nervous. I'm sure he struggled with the mental part of it, of just being taken off the bench and thrown out there without warning, really. His passing completions, he only made 4 out of 16 attempts. His completion percentage was 25%. Passing yards total of 47 with 0 touchdowns, obviously. So, he struggled, and he admitted that. He admitted that in the press conference. He'd made some comments, and I'll paraphrase some things that he said. But, he said, I don't think I played good at all. At least he admitted that part. But then later on in the I kind of skipped over some of the other things he said. He still has his swagger, because he said, I know I'm made for it. I don't think there was doubt in my mind that final drive we were going to go down there and score. Things happened differently. So in his mind, even when he was thrown into this situation, his confidence was still there. It was just mentally and physically, I don't think he was ready or prepared to do what he needed to do.
Yeah, and the game speeds up. So as you move from each level from one to the next. And like I said, if you haven't had any reps, and it makes me just question, like, even the Philadelphia, but Cleveland coaching staff, because it's like if you draft 2 quarterbacks, you're down to 2, you have a backup. Obviously, he's your backup. Then you have to get him some first team reps. You have to get him in there and get some reps. So I don't understand what they're doing on that end. It just doesn't make sense. And it just sort of indicative of who the Cleveland Browns are and why they are constantly in the position that they're in.
He's right.
To the Browns piece of that, I'm gonna give you some props on that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna challenge the and you know quarterback way better than I'm going to know quarterback. And I do understand the challenges that come with playing quarterback, all the things that you've got to know. But where I'm questioning is, okay, we all know that you needed all of that. But you've been screaming about getting in. You've been wanting to play. So but whether or not you I mean, all you wanted to do, because all
so
you wanted.
So you think it was calculated? Do you think that they did that to maybe prove a point to him that?
I don't know.
Dylan got hurt. Gabriel.
Well, but I'm saying, was it calculated to put him in that situation without?
I don't think so. But I think when you get put into that situation, and now it's real, and you've never touched it, Dad can't help you now. And your cockiness or your confidence, whatever you want to call it, it won't work.
It can't work because you haven't had any reps at it.
There you go.
Again, quarterback is not a quote unquote pure athletic position. So I can't just go out there as an athlete and make something happen as an athlete. If I want to really progress and move the ball, maturate it downfield, I have to, number one, have a feel for the offense. I have to have worked this thing because, again, different coverage is going to dictate different reads. I'm going to have to, even if you have the same coverage, if I'm a specific cornerback or linebacker, I have to make slightly different throws and adjust. I have to know I have a weakness on this side of the line. I have a strength on here. So I know, and all that doesn't come through you just by studying it. You have to feel it.
I buy that.
There's no way you're going to be successful as an NFL quarterback with no reps.
I buy that.
You're not.
But I'm not buying no reps. I'm not buying
that's
that
what's coming out.
That's what I heard.
That's what everybody's saying. That's what the organization is saying. Everybody's saying that.
So okay, so
my thing is,
if he's having so let's say if he's having second team quarterback reps, right? He's throwing the ball, he's handing it off, he's faking it, he's doing all those kinds of things that the quarterback has to do.
Yeah.
Now, he's reading some defense, whether it's a scout team or whatever.
It don't work like that.
I know. No, wait a minute. I'm not saying that it works. Him reading the scout team, that won't help him because that's not the team that he's playing. I understand that piece. I get that. But if every quarterback, everybody who's playing has to be ready, what got to be ready when it comes. And you got to be ready when it comes.
I think this is different.
I think you got to be ready. When it comes.
That's a blanket statement. You can't pit again. If the reports are true, and we're saying and we believe that he's not getting any first team action in practice, this is not a pure mental.
If we believe that,
if that's true. Which I think is true because it's coming from everybody.
Yeah, it's coming from
At one point, he wasn't even getting scout team reps when they were fully quarterback, when they had a full quarterback room. So it's just one of them positions. You are not going to do well if you're not in getting reps. You're just not.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, obviously, the management wasn't too disappointed with this play because he's expected to make his first start.
Yeah,
against the Raiders, right?
I don't know if they have a choice.
Yeah, they don't have a choice.
Do they not have anybody else?
No,
it's just them two and Gabriel. He's in concussion protocol, so he's not going to be available. So it is what it is. So hopefully, I think this week we'll see what it is.
And again, I'm enjoying this fight because I'm old school enough to also realize the opportunity to get into a game. you may not get, if you're a backup, you might not get those reps. But when you become from backup to the starter, you got to be able to. You got to come out and play. You can say that I didn't get enough reps. I didn't get enough of this. I didn't do this. Y'all didn't give me enough time, bro. But sometimes you don't get. You got to come out and play. Like, you just got to come and play.
You also have to pretend like your quarterback is hurt. Like, you have to make sure that second string quarterback is ready to go.
I agree.
You have to pretend like every single week that your starter is going to get hurt.
100%. I 100%.
You just have to think that way, right?
This is why the Browns suck. They're terrible. Because to your point, you know that you ain't never played football in your life.
No.
And the fact of the matter is that if I'm an organization, I'm a coach, it's on me to make sure that my backup quarterback has a package that he can feel comfortable doing. So if I have to insert him in the game, then I have about 10 to 15 plays that I know this guy can do, and he's comfortable doing it. He knows the reads against all defenses. There's no way in modern football that if you're not getting any reps,
I just don't believe that's true.
Not at the quarterback position. Not at the quarterback position. It's like asking a goalie to go in and he doesn't feel any shots in soccer or hockey.
During practice.
He just sits in the stands or sits on the sidelines and goes warm up.
It doesn't work that way.
It don't work.
I buy that. I'm 100% with you. I just don't buy. I can't imagine. Okay, I'll say it that way. I can't imagine you having a quarterback and you've got two available, and you're giving all the reps to one.
That's what made me think there was another quarterback on the team. When I heard that, I thought there's got to be somebody else.
I think they have an emergency guy. I want to say it's somebody else, but it's not. I think those are the two suiting up.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Because they remember they were at 5 one time. And
Right. Yeah, I remember they had too many.
I just don't. I just don't see how you get no reps. I just don't see how that is sensible for coaching.
You need to pull some strings and get that coach on the show, and we need to ask him, like, okay, we got 5 minutes. We just want to ask you one question: is Shedeur getting reps, and if he not, why?
So I watched all those sports shows today. ESPN was just, every single one of them. They were talking about this situation and. They talked about his play and you being a former quarterback, Hollis, and you being a coach and defensive player. I'll throw this out there. But they said they felt like he struggled with processing, which would be speed, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And that he too often, bailed backward out of the pocket or he fell backward on his throws and he was off target. So that's more of technique than it is. I mean, is that because he hasn't had those reps?
It's not technique, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I mean, that's a good observation,
Okay.
but it's not technique. It's more of eye discipline because, like I said, if I'm in the pocket and I have reps, I'm used to the speed of things going on, and I understand and know what I'm looking at. Because you're a professional athlete. You know,
all related
you guys
to processing.
you guys prep. It's all related to process.
Okay.
So if I'm unsure what I'm looking at, then my feet get antsy, and I end up in my mind trying to buy myself time waiting for guys to get open.
Okay.
Because I'm not anticipating. Because good quarterbacks, you see, they're throwing guys open or they're throwing the ball before the guy gets open, like right out the break, and they're throwing the ball. But if you don't have that feel and if you don't have that repetition, then you start doing stuff like that. So that's exactly what this is, and it's indicative of somebody who is not getting a lot of.
I was just going to ask, is that
reps.
something that can be corrected? I mean, it's not so much
over
about
time.
his talent; it's more
he's
about.
he's gonna need reps. But I want to ask this question, Hollis. Sometimes when you get put into that situation and you mentally remember what that was, now week 2, and you're gonna start again in week 2, even though let's say they give you all of that information, all you can remember, because it's tough being in that pocket when you got people coming.
Yeah.
Is it possible that that because of how it was handled this past week, how poorly he played, because of all the reasons, is he gonna be nervous again coming in?
He'll be fine. He's gonna be so confident because he got that out. So he he actually got a feel now. So, I mean, it probably is going to work out pretty good because he actually got some game time. Even if he didn't get a whole lot of reps prior to that, he got a game time feel, and then he'll get a whole week to dissect that, and then going into
and
Sunday.
Get reps.
And get reps. And get all the reps in practice. So I think he'll be fine.
So you think in your opinions, now that he's gotten that first game out of the way and he's going to get more practice, more reps, the things he needs to get better. So now this coming week when they, play the Las Vegas Raiders, now can we kind of make a judgment about whether he's NFL material? I mean, is that fair?
100% fair. I mean, I think this will be the first test.
Okay.
So we'll see, this will be test number 1.
See, I would be willing to give him another week,
even after this game,
even after this, because what I would like to
probably maybe
what
not.
I would like to do is you could see, can you see getting better? It doesn't
improvement.
He's not going to be just improvement would be great. Whether he completes 8 balls this time, that's okay. So started at 4, now we're at 8, and he looked a little bit more comfortable, because when you get thrown into a game at that level, and really at any level, and you're all of a sudden you are the guy, or you're playing.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my barometer for this week would just be just hanging in the pocket and being on time and just making good decisions. Again, they might have some drop balls, maybe some off target, but are you on time? Are you making the right decision? Are you making the right read?
Are you keeping up with speed?
Are you keeping up with speed? Are you figuring out that, okay, I need to, maybe I can run this for this 2 or 3 yards? Are you just making the good decisions? Are you calm? Is your feet steady? So I'm looking for stuff like that.
See, the one point that you made there, can they run the football? Because because wouldn't that be a great opportunity to be able to play action, do those kinds of things? Because when you don't think, if a team knows that you can't run the football, man, they're coming at you.
And it's the Cleveland Browns. It's just yuck. Yeah. Yeah,
Browns being
saying. So
Browns browning.
It ain't about a win. It's just can you get 10-15% better than what you was last week?
Okay, so your dad. What are you thinking? Now you didn't saw your son in this scenario, and you're Dion. What are you thinking?
I think Dion's thinking the same thing. Just get a little bit better. You got to get some tape now, because ultimately, I don't think his future is in Cleveland. It just ain't. I don't think that's where he'll be long term. So right now, it's just about getting some tape. Can you get a little bit better? To your point, can you get for every week that you play? Can you get a little bit better? Can you get better?
And has Dion really come? Oh, go ahead, finish.
No, I'm saying then just figure it out for the next couple of years.
Yeah, just keep improving and figure out where you want to be. Has Dion even come out and made an official statement about his son's play? I haven't heard anything, which is smart.
Yes, I was going to say.
Out of it.
I think he should. I think he should stay out of that. Because
he has his own problems in Colorado.
There isn't any reason for him to even speak on that, And again,
but sometimes it doesn't matter whether he needs to speak on it or not. We know Dion likes to speak on it, especially when it comes to.
I think if Dion gets in it, I think it gets muddy, and I think, and I truly think he.
Well, so far he hasn't. So
I think this would be. I think they would end up either trading or cutting.
I think they're going to trade him regardless.
Yeah.
And again, it's just, he coached his son his whole life. It's time to let the training wheels off, and you got to let him go be a pro now. Which I think he's done a good job, because he hasn't said, to me, I haven't heard anything of him speaking out over it. Yeah.
Well, he may be facing a hot seat in Colorado with the record they have and what's going on in the Big 12. I mean, I know it's Dion, but this year's been tough on the Buffalo.
All right, so if
they're
we wanna,
next to last in the Big 12.
If we want to switch to Dad real quick, okay, so
I'm just saying he's got a lot of things on his plate, and like Hollis just said, his son needs to figure it out for himself. He's a grown man now. Yeah. He's in the NFL, and he needs to do this. And then Dion probably needs to focus on his own health and his own issues with football in Colorado, in my opinion. But
I'm with you. I think his health is actually 1,000 times more important, or should be important.
Everybody's health
than him trying to stay at Colorado. For what? For who? Why am I staying in this situation, trying to turn this program around, make it something great? Why am I doing that when my own individual health is? I'm having issues with my health.
Do you think that and for this question is for both of you, do you ever think that Colorado would put pressure on him to step down, or do you think it's a position that Deion he can do what he pleases as long as he pleases?
I don't think
regardless of wins.
I don't think so. I don't think that they're going to give him that. I think he might. He's used to having that,
right?
But he's not. Nor is he used to having what people might call failure. He doesn't know what that feels like, or he's never really been through it. Everything that he has ever tried to do, he didn't just do it, he did it great. And all of a sudden now he's in a situation where it's not, at this point, it's not even good.
I mean, he's had I saw this on the internet today. He's had 16 surgeries since 2021.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
If I'm the school,
I mean,
I'm letting him.
ailments,
I'm sitting him down and say, look, your health is more important to us than you trying to run our football program. Yeah. You need to go take care of yourself for your family, get a chance to do the things that you need to do, and we move on.
I think just because of his health, like, number one, you don't have the energy to recruit like you need to. And you don't have, and I think you can't be the draw like you were initially. So I think him, Travis, his son Shedeur it was a big draw. It was a lot of hype, a lot of energy. It was the swag, the glasses, everything around it. So that's kind of waned. And then the football is just not great.
Right.
So, it's, like I said, Colorado's a tough place to recruit, from everywhere else. And it's in the Big 12. So I think it's one of them situations where it's probably going to be another year or two. Then we'll see him transition to something else.
You think he's going to go 2 more years? You think could be 2 more years?
Maybe 1 or 2 more years. I think he wants to figure out if he can win or not. But, again, I just don't know if you have the energy to really do that. And I think the hype is gone. So
I do too. Yeah, I think the hype is gone.
I don't know. People were pretty excited in Morgantown when he was there. I mean, it's Deion. I mean, the hype for him to be somewhere is still there. But I think, as far as the team goes,
I think Deion is always going to be appreciated wherever he goes.
Right.
He's coming to WVU. Everybody's coming to that game because they want to just get a glimpse of him, just get a
crowd.
picture.
Yeah.
But for him, on his individual side of it, he's got to look at his own individual health. And now, again, he doesn't have anybody he has no loyalty to Colorado at this point now.
Now that the boys are gone. Yeah.
Now that the boys are gone, but I think he's just that competitive that he just he doesn't want to, quote, lose. And I don't know if him not having a winning record there is losing. I think the kids who he's touched, I think all of them,
for sure,
for the rest of their life, will be a Deion fan.
Yeah.
So,
the numbers are not great. I think they're 3-7 overall, and they're 1-6 conference play, which is Big 12. It's hard to support that. I don't know. I mean, as far as we understand, and as people that understand football, but for the layman fan, they want wins.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
All right, cats and kittens, have you heard? The Warrior Diner is back. Step into the classic vibe of one of Charleston's most historic restaurants. Don't miss the daily Blue Plate specials. Breakfast served all day, every day, and free parking. With an outdoor patio covered for the summer, an elegant basement bar, and customizable event space, 1022 Warrior Street offers an experience unlike any other. Open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit warriordiner.com for all the need to know and relive the good times at the Warrior Diner.
Let's face it, bad things happen to good people. Seriously injured in a car accident, trucking accident, or even wrongfully arrested. Life happens, and when it happens to you, you will need sound legal advice and aggressive representation. That's when you call attorney Frank Walker at 304-413-0179. That's 304-413-0179. Lock it in your phone, text it to a friend. 304-413-0179. Or visit online at attorneyfrankwalker.com.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is presented by attorney Frank Walker and the all-new historic Coyer Diner. Come in on episodes, ask the crew questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee and remember to like the page to become part of the conversation. Subscribe by searching Let's Talk with Carl Lee on your favorite podcast service and tune in Thursday evenings at 7 or Sunday nights at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee. This is Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Now back to the conversation.
So this is a story we touched on, or a subject I would say we touched on a bunch of times, is gambling and gambling around sports. We heard obviously what happened with the with the NBA players and coaches and different things of that nature. But two stories popped up where we have some basketball players from the University of New Orleans got caught basically point shaving. And then we had some baseball players from the Cleveland Guardians who got caught, I guess, manipulating prop bets. And I think, and just to talk on the prop bets, prop bets is like where you can bet on something specific. Like you can bet on what's going to be the first pitch or what's the average speed or what's going to be the coin toss and all those things. So when we talk about, this continued culture of gambling and how embedded sports are, and we're going to, in my opinion, we'll see more and more of these sort of stories just because we talked about Deion and competitive. All these other athletes are competitive as well. Yep. And it's a culture that a lot of these young men are growing up into. So they'll start gambling really as preteens, and it persists even as they move and matriculate through professional ranks. So, I mean, what do we do as a culture to address this? Like, how do we figure out, or are we just going to continue to see story after story about this?
I mean, I think once we had the NBA, the big, bust of what happened with the coach down there and or the coaches in the league and, all of that coming down, I think that the other stuff is going to start coming out too. We talked about this. Once the dam breaks, the water just comes rolling through. Yeah. And so there's going to be more and more of these stories coming out from different angles in the sports world. I don't know how you fix it now. I think that it's just so difficult when you turn on the TV and the commercial, on ESPN's DraftKings. And we've talked about this. It's so easy to access. It's not like it used to be. You pick up your phone, you can gamble. You don't have to go to a casino. I don't know. I mean, what are your answers?
I know one of the things they were talking about doing was getting rid of a lot of the prop bets. So all them like small little bets you can make, getting rid of that.
Will they do that though?
I think they have to a certain degree.
Rein it in.
Yeah, you have to rein it in. But even to that point, again, and it goes back to money in sports.
It's all money.
Where you have the University of New Orleans basketball, which is a small, I don't know, maybe a 1AA program or FCS program, or maybe even Division II. But those kids were getting like they were approached by, a big money guy. They're getting like $5,000-$10,000 a game to fix games. Because now, and again, that's what I want people to realize. It's not just betting on the Alabamas or the NFL or the NBA. People, I read a story where this guy was betting on like women's basketball in Iceland. They're betting on like these like real like low soccer leagues. Have the Premier League and they have the other leagues. They're betting on soccer leagues. They're betting on cricket. They're betting on stuff across the water. They're betting on like darn near like amateur sports, like minor league sports. So it's like it just seems like it's not stopping. It's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Okay, and that's a very valid point, and I'm gonna go from there. So back in the day when I was playing, you didn't have gambling commercials. You didn't have all of this kind of stuff that's out front. So if you were gambling and you couldn't gamble on football, more than likely you probably wasn't going to do it. Now, did somebody do it? I'm sure somebody got away with it. Somebody may have gotten caught, and I don't even remember. But in today's market, so you're going to tell me not to gamble, but you're going to have gambling as a sponsor. You're putting these things out there for what? Because you want to make this money. So when you're promoting gambling, it's part of every football commercial. You're promoting that. And
ESPN has its own segment.
yeah.
I mean, about,
So how are you?
their
How
picks.
are you going to do that? Like, how are you going to? How am I going to make you? I'm promoting something that's gambling, and I'm telling you that it's illegal. How does that work?
But society's normalized it.
Yes.
And
I believe that.
It's not taboo.
Well,
I mean,
I think again the problem is with these two stories with the baseball players and the basketball players. It's not that they were even gambling.
Right.
They were involved in the manipulation of it.
Yes.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
they
So
were
it's
participating.
I'm going to help
in the
you. I'm going to help
takedown.
you get that.
I'm gonna
money.
help you get
Yeah.
that money. I'm gonna
They were accessories.
So again,
Yeah.
we've seen this before, but I'm just thinking like, how much have we? Is it already happened? I'm sure it's been happening over the last few years.
These guys who got caught, this wasn't their first time.
It wasn't their first time, and there's more people who are doing it.
Right.
So again, as you have these degenerate gamblers or just people with deep pockets approaching you, and I'm playing basketball, and I probably don't have a shot at going to the NBA. I may not be getting any NIL money. Heck, if you're going to offer me $5,000-$10,000 a game to throw a game or fix a game or make sure we don't score any points, why wouldn't I do that? Because we're in a culture of tit for tat. We're in a culture of like, what have you done for the major league? We're in a culture of just give me some money. I'm find a way to get some money.
That's my NIL.
Yeah.
That's my NIL. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm fixing games.
Yeah.
And I remember we had this conversation before, Matt. You were talking about how it's getting easier for these people that do these types of gambling schemes to get in contact with the players.
Good point.
Yeah.
Because of the different events schools are doing now for fans to get a better experience. And tell us about the one, Matt.
Social
if you
media,
can.
too.
In social media, for
Yeah,
sure.
so you could just DM somebody and say, "Hey, you play for McNeese State."
It was like, but it was something about. I think it was it Ohio State, Matt?
No, it was Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay, Cleveland. Sorry, it was pro. Go ahead. Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, they're just creating kind of almost sort of like a private club where you have to pay 5 figures to get in there, and it's going to give you extra access to players. It's going to get you. It's kind of like the next level beyond if you're already a regular season suite holder.
Right.
It's just kind of like an exclusive group within the exclusive group.
And who's got the money to do that? The people that are, promoting these schemes that are getting to the players and saying, "Hey, I've got something for you. If you can do something for me."
Think about it. Think about if they can get to a professional basketball player and they can make some sort of deal or in the pockets. What do you think is going to be for somebody that goes to State or Glenville or UC? Because literally they're betting on those games.
Yes.
Those games are getting betted on. So it's not just, like I said, it's not big games, not just the big games. It's all sports now.
And the fact that
did NIL open this door, you think? To a degree?
I think gambling in general, I think NIL, because it made it about the money. Again, I want to preface this by saying that,
not completely open it, but
gambling has been going on for a long time in sports. We've seen other sports shaving scandals. So we've seen this before. This is not necessarily new, but I just think we're going to see it to a level that we haven't seen it before.
I think because it's been showing up. I think it's showing up in football. Because to your point, it's probably always been there. Yeah, somebody was doing it, but nobody cared enough to really go deep diving into it. But now when you start looking at the other sports and you're finding it constantly.
But I think what happened is the prop bets made it different because now it's not about winning or losing. I don't have to throw the game.
Right.
If I can literally make a bet that says, the point guard at WVU, his first shot is going to be a 3-point shot. I can make that bet probably somewhere.
Yes.
And if he makes it, then I can win. So it's not about, you don't have to throw the game, but you don't have to your ethical or moral standard doesn't have to be compromised. You could just say, "Hey, I'll take that first 3 and I'll collect whatever, this guy's going to pay me." So I think it's just, I think to your point, that's what's opened it up because you have such the variety of bets and in ways in which you can bet.
And do you think the guys who are getting tied up in this type of betting, do you think that they think like it's not me really betting, because I'm not really betting. I'm not going to really necessarily
it's
throw
gambling.
the game.
It's gambling. It's just that they're not saying I don't have to throw the game. I don't have to. I don't have to risk throwing the game.
They
now.
don't feel morally
it's
as
not
guilty.
it's like, oh,
I can do that. Yeah,
I can do
that's
that.
not a big deal.
I don't think they're looking as like an ethical or moral issue as it relates to playing or keeping the sanctity of the game. I don't think they're looking at it like that. It's just like it's one little thing. I can do it there. So I think that's probably one thing that's going to have to go.
Okay, so who decides the prop bets have to go?
I think it's going to have to be a combination of the leagues and the gaming books.
And I don't think they have a partnership.
Well, I think what happens is that I can't specifically remember which one, but I know one of them limited, so you can only bet up to like $200. I think it's maybe on a parlay and some prop bets. So you can only there's a max of how much you can bet, how many times you can bet it. So I think in their mind, well, you're not going to win big money, so you can't bet like $500,000 on this prop bet anymore. So I think they're trying to do things like that without necessarily like eliminating it in totality.
But I think too, if it's available to me, if I have access to it as a player, that's really not your fault. You know, you're not really as the gambling organization. It's really not your responsibility for me to go. My rule is I'm not supposed to be able to gamble, so I should not go. Okay, I should not gamble. So the moment that I come, nobody's in front of me. I don't think I'm going to get caught.
Well, again, the issue's not gambling per se. The issue is fixing the game, manipulating it. That's the issue.
Yes.
That's the issue. It's like Damon Jones. As far as related to him, I want to say Damon Jones, one of the NBA guys, his issue wasn't gambling per se. His issue was giving inside information.
Right.
So he
who's not playing?
Yeah, who's not playing? Who's sitting out? Who's injured?
But it contributes to gambling.
That's the issue.
Yes.
So that's where it muddies and toxic the water. Because
but he's placing money and it's betting on something, and any type of betting is a form of gambling.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not talking about. No. I'm not talking. You guys are right on that, but that's not the issue. The issue is them releasing inside information, or I'm fixing something to help this
they are
individual
not
guy.
gambling.
Because
they're helping the gambler.
They're helping the gamblers, and they're manipulating the game.
Because you're talking to Lisa, and you're letting Lisa know that I'm not playing this
You're
week.
not playing.
You know,
she can make a bet related to that somehow.
Yes.
So that's the issue. And I'm saying, if it was just gambling, that's one thing. But when you're manipulating the books, that's where you're going to have a problem, man. And eventually, it's going to come to somebody's going to fix a game, and it's going to be a big one.
Let me ask you this: how far of separation do you think there's got to be? Let's say NBA player A decides he wants to gamble, nothing that involves him or his team, but he wants to bet on something that involves player B. Do you think that players should be able to bet on other teams, other players in the league, or
that's crazy? I know, because
it goes deep. There's so many layers.
And I know what it is now. I think if I play in the NBA, I can bet on the NFL, but I'm not supposed to bet on the NBA. Again, I just think it muddies the water, because we know all these NBA guys, they have relationships. So it's just, if I'm going to make that prop bet on this guy that I know, I play for the Lakers, he plays for Dallas. It's just, I don't know. It's
the same.
Yeah, it just doesn't look right, because we don't know how that can be manipulated. I just think at some point the leagues are going to have to find a different revenue stream. I don't think as a league I can be fully in this. I can be fully vested in this. This could be a sponsor of mine. I can have the star of my league in draft. LeBron James is in DraftKings commercials.
I know.
Yes.
Like how what are we doing?
And and I'll make the case, he may not even drink. He might be that athlete that doesn't drink.
That doesn't gamble.
But he's going to be in it.
Yeah.
Because it's DraftKings.
Yeah.
So and here's the other part of it, guys. And I know what you're saying about, like, you shouldn't be allowed to bet in you can like, if you're an NFL player, you can bet on NBA.
Yeah.
But you can't bet on NFL stuff, right?
Correct.
But all of these professional athletes kind of run in the same circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, they're all in the same, income bracket, so to speak. So they're going to the same parties. They know the same people. They're all.
That's a good point.
So really, there's not a whole lot of differentiation between betting one professional sport from another. Now, college is a whole different animal. We're not talking about that. But at the professional level, these guys all know each other.
That's true. That's a good point, Lisa. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I just think I think in order to to maintain the safety of the game, to not corrupt it to a point where people don't believe it, where it becomes WWE, I think you just got to get rid of it. That's just my opinion.
And lose the faith of fans.
I think lose the faith. I think you just got to, at some point, it's got to be a total separation like it was before.
And because if you just try to say that if a player gets caught gambling at this level, you're out. You can't do anything. Like, you should not be able to bet on any sport at all.
Yeah.
Because you're in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're the basketball player, I'm the football player. We're buddies. We went to the same college. Hollis, won't let me know some information, such and such playing, okay, I'll let you know.
It's easy to do.
That's so easy to do.
Particularly now, we could just DM somebody.
Exactly.
I just, like I said, I just think, I don't know, you got to get rid of it. That's just my opinion. And it's got to be a hard line, and there's got to be a wall in between that so it doesn't cross.
And I'm totally in agreement, but I don't know how it happens with revenue. I mean, that they're so deep into the money part of it, the revenue that they're generating, being in bed with all these gambling platforms. I don't see it happening anytime soon.
You're right.
I'm trying to figure out like how did this all just start to develop? Like, where's the startup of making the connections with the NFL player, the NBA player? Like, who's making that? Is that okay? Are we making the case that that's somebody in the mafia, or because I got to be available for you? I don't see, if you're the mafia guy, if you're the head guy, how do I even know you? How do we know each other? How do we get together?
Lisa's point, it's like if you're hanging around people at a certain income bracket, it's going to be guys in the underworld who make that same level of money. Mm-hmm. So, and if you're a person who likes to play cards or this or that, then one thing leads to another, and then you find yourself maybe owing a couple million or a couple $100,000, which you can't pay right now. So, I think it's probably easier than what we think. And like I said, if you're just in this environment where it's gambling just is omnipresent, it's all around you. It's stuff like it's going to happen.
And I think the root of all of it is years ago when they legalized online gambling. I mean, it went from having to go to a casino to place a bet and, do things in person to just all access for everybody. And when they started that, the ball just started rolling, and it just kind of, infiltrated sports and every other aspect in society.
Well, and it was a Supreme Court ruling in 2018 was the big one, because it used to be that every state had control over whether or not they legalize it, and then that shot that down, and so that's what opened up all of these, BetMGM, DraftKings, that type of stuff, because now it's nationwide.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Because I can't honestly say I can ever remember like any form of betting, gambling of any sort being a commercial, even being at the game. Like, the video board is going to have, something up there, whether it's alcohol or gambling. There's going to be something like that
vice
there. Yes. And why would the ownership, and this is a bad example, but get in bed with all of these types of organizations?
Money.
Well, yeah, I get it. It is. I know for a fact it's money. But how then are you? How are you correcting me? How can you correct me?
I don't know.
Like, how you going to tell me not to?
I guess it's just like you can drink, but you can't drink and drive. So it's limits to it.
Or
choices
being in
have consequences.
Or the parent situation of like, do as I say and not as I do.
Well, that's a good analogy.
Because I think that, at the end of the day, I really truly think that's really where we are. But I think we're going to lose. I think we're going to lose a lot of the fan base. Let one big scandal come out of a football team.
Yeah.
Let's say a Super Bowl.
People already complain. They say, "Oh, it's fixed." I mean, how many people say
how many
that?
times
You hear
are you
it
hearing
all
that?
the time.
Yes.
This
You're
is
hearing
fixed.
that
NFL's fixed.
every close
and all
game.
it's going to take is one, like you said, one scandal. And that's just going to solidify their idea that it's all fixed.
Yeah, I'm done with it.
I'm done.
You know,
Yeah.
and you're going to lose your fan base.
Yeah.
Well, and like leagues like the NBA, I mean, they're already like 50% viewership down.
Right.
Then you add in stuff like this. I don't think that's going to help them at all.
Not a bit.
At all. And I really, really, really think that it could sink
Yeah.
the NFL. Like,
Well, it may sink the NBA. And to your point, Matt, I mean, they were already on the edge of some problems anyway financially.
Yeah.
So this isn't good.
all right, and to that point, let's say your team, you find out that your team is running this scandal. So, like, all of a sudden, I figure out like some people have been betting at the Viking or through the Viking organization. How do you react to that? Like, is that like I'm no longer involved with them
Well,
now?
I think it would be even harder. I mean, not just for the person who watches them on TV from week to week, but those season ticket holders, those people who shell out the money, week to week, being a fan, going to the games when they're at home, and all the things that come with that. I mean, the people that are really investing their money, which is a lot of blue collar people,
right.
That's the NFL fan base. And when they find out that there's been some tinkering with their team, they'll be disillusioned, and a lot of them will pull their money away from that. I think I would. I mean, if that's what happens,
it would be hard. It would be hard pressed for me to go to a Viking game under the concept of knowing that someone has been or is in the process. We're finding out that they're gambling or whatever. I don't even know, like why would I even be involved, quote, in the team aspect of that?
Yeah.
And I think that's what the NFL doesn't really, and the NBA and even baseball, like, you don't understand like how fragile the fan base, former players, when you're already getting, I'm looking at you and you're a current player and you're making all this kind of money. I made this little bit of money when I was playing. And then next thing I find out is you're in a gambling scheme.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Why am I like?
That's a tough pill to swallow.
Again,
Yeah.
This is one of those deals like morals, ethics, sanctity of the game versus capitalism. So,
And we know who wins.
Yeah. How was it? So you went to Minnesota this week. How was that this weekend?
It was really good. It was cold, man. That's the other thing. It was cold. We went maybe like about 5 or 6 different places. We go to like little sports bars and stuff like that, and sign. And the best thing about it is, like, a lot of these folks are probably never going to be have an opportunity to maybe go to a game or meet a player. And
so when you're going, are you going to Minneapolis or are you going to just traveling the state of Minnesota?
We're out. We're probably at least, we went about an hour and a half, I think was the furthest trip outside of Minneapolis. We took an hour and a half and we stayed the night, and shoot, I can't even remember the town, and these are like towns that like I didn't even know the names of them when I was there.
That's cool.
But man, the fan base is so it makes you feel good because like they're going crazy. Like, I mean, they're, and the biggest guy, Tommy Kramer, who he's really slow now. He doesn't drink anymore. He may drink some non-alcoholic beer, but he's like, everybody wants his signature. Everybody, if you're standing there and you've got one pitcher left, and Tommy's got a line of 100 people, they're going to be the 101 person. Yeah. and they just love him. And I feel bad because I don't know if he even can. He's even able to appreciate it when you're out there like that.
So do you guys end up at the game on Sunday? Not always.
No, we didn't go to the game this.
You didn't get to see the Bears beat the Vikings Sunday. Aww.
So this will. Can we make sure this is Lisa's last show?
Get my pink slip ready. As usual, they have a stock back there, Carl. They just hand it to me when I walk out the door every time we finish.
This is your last show for sure. That was really like and we didn't watch it, like we weren't like in depth into it, but we got it down. When you get down to the end of the game, it's like, how do you lose that? And then what? Here's the benefit of being like a former player. I'm 100% sure we've lost games like that, right?
Yeah.
But I can't understand why they're losing them like that now.
It's because you're not on the field.
Exactly.
Carl. That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, and
explains everything.
And Keith Millard is a guy that a lot of people might not know his name, but he comes and he's probably like about 6'5", and probably right now he's probably about 240 or whatever. He was Defensive Player of the Year. I think he was a runner-up another year after, in between that, and he was one of the best pass rushers that we had had, especially as an inside guy. And the crazy thing about him is, like, he is so. If somebody hears this, they'll think differently. But he's so cool and calm and collective. But he has his temper is like
short,
like
doesn't take much.
Doesn't take much. Man, let's just go. Why we got to still be here? But he is the greatest dude that I think that I played with when it comes to, like, he's not coming to Minnesota if guys that he likes are not coming.
Oh.
Regardless of what you're paying, he ain't coming. He ain't getting on the plane. He's checking to see, who's
if you're
coming.
there.
Yeah. He has never and the crazy thing about it, he's never lost that true quote teammate thing.
Oh.
That loyalty to your teammate. I mean, that's embedded in him today.
Yeah.
And I wish I had that, but I love him.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's kind of that deal, like, where you can see and appreciate somebody who loves you. He would do anything to protect you.
Wow.
That's what's up.
And
maybe that's what the game needs right now. Just overall, just a little bit of love. And
that kind of. I don't. And again,
focus.
and to your point, Lisa, I don't really know if the league, if players build that relationship like quote old days.
They do, man.
You think they do?
I would hope. You know what I'm saying? Again, we don't know, but we see the good teams. Like, you look at the the Ravens, look at the Chiefs, look at the Bills. They seem to have a synergy amongst them, and when you have those guys who sort of step out of line, they figure out a way to get rid of those guys quick. So I hope that's still the case, because I think that we have to do whatever we can do to just hold on to some semblance of just that traditional sporting thing, like where these guys can capture a piece of our imagination and we can just sort of live vicariously through them as they go throughout their careers.
And to that, I think, to show the younger generation,
there you go,
of what teamwork looks like,
role models,
what role models are supposed to be, all of those kinds of things, I think is
but
really critical.
I think it's hard to do that now, man, because you're just so overexposed about everything. Like, I think a part of, like, that role model, part of that, if you look at Michael Jordan, is that mystique, right? You've seen him on a commercial, you may see him in a movie, but you're not seeing him, like, every day. You're not, like, looking at his IG all the time. And I think sometimes the more these guys talk, the more you're just like, geez.
Probably shouldn't have said that.
Stop talking.
Just stop.
But.
Yeah, and I'll say, and I don't want to, like, throw mud on current players, but we were always kind of taught, like, even in an interview. So if I'm having an interview after the game and let's say I get a game-winning interception, what's my conversation about? It's about the D linemen, how they had been put put pressure on him, and that forced that quarterback to
Not
make
about
that bad play.
yourself.
It was never going to be about yourself. And I don't know if coaches coach that or teach that, or players get that or understand that. Because I think it is really now a truly individualized. If I'm the star, if I think I'm the best player on that team.
Because I don't think you were concerned about the personal brand of Carl Lee.
No.
I don't think that was the forethought.
It wasn't a thing back then, was it?
I think for some guys it was, but it wasn't for everybody.
I think it happened to them. They understood, it was put on them. A guy like Anthony Carter, AC, his legacy was given to him. He didn't want it, and he didn't live up to it.
But what I'm saying is that even though a guy now in the NFL, you don't have to be a superstar in order to attract an audience. So,
True.
if I have the opportunity to have the mic and I say something salacious or outrageous, then that's people want to be checking my IG and protecting my my social media.
Like what you
said.
said.
Yeah, so it's like I can build a personal brand, and I don't have to be like the biggest thing out.
Yeah.
No
or
more.
the nicest guy.
Yeah, I don't got to be the nicest guy. I can build it on however I want to build it. And if I can get attention, that's good enough for some guys.
Well, anything else, Lisa?
No.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here, and we will see you again next week.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is presented by attorney Frank Walker and the all-new historic Quarrier Diner. Comment on episodes, ask the crew questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee, and remember to like the page to become part of the conversation. Subscribe by searching Let's Talk with Carl Lee on your favorite podcast service, and tune in Thursday evenings at 7 or Sunday nights at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee.